volunteers and local citizens come together to dig out muddy and dirty water from flooded homes in Malaysia. Volunteers make a replica of the first Tzu Chi Monthly magazine at a recent year-end blessing ceremony. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is Dai Headlines. Let's get started. Parts of Malaysia have been hard hit by flooding, with volunteers from Digi's Seremban Liaison Office mobilizing to assist in cleaning affected homes. Take a look. After being invaded by the floods in the Jelebu district of Negeri Sembilan, the scene was full of damaged furniture, overturned cars, and damaged houses.
The water level was as high as 6 or 7 feet, so the residents all fled this area. That day, the river caused the entire area to flood. It was a flash flood.
On Christmas Day, Digi volunteers from Malacca and Tambian drove to the disaster area early in the morning to support the Seremban Digi volunteers.
It's really serious. The most important thing is that the house is really horribly dirty and messy. We hope our mobilization can help reduce their burden.
Because this disaster area is too serious, I invited everyone to come together. The worst is Kampong Jinan. Today we have nearly 150 people here.
The thick mud and water-damaged furniture are not easy to clean up in a short period of time. Digi volunteers from Seremban joined the community cleanup.
This is the second day I came to help clean up. My body is tired, but I still want to help the affected residents.
I just want to give some compassion and feel their sadness. I want to do my best to help them.
This is a very meaningful job. I think those affected residents have worked harder than us. We just want to try our best to help.
The disaster area is wide-ranging and there's a serious shortage of manpower. Many business people have put in special effort, brought their employees to come and work together.
We brought a wheelbarrow, gloves, and a shovel. As this is a natural disaster, we want to try our best to contribute.
It's all mud and garbage. The disaster is serious, so I have empathy. I brought some people to help deal with it. We are doing construction, and we have this ability and the resources to deal with this problem.
Regardless of the mud, many are willing to work and help clean the homes of flood survivors so that their lives can get back to normal as soon as possible. During the pandemic, many Malaysians were trapped in Singapore, unable to travel back home as they please. Those who were stuck in Singapore took the opportunity to do something good for society, spending their time wisely despite their situation. Here's more.
每一个灾难都会带出另外一种福田或者是良能，真的是不要被困难或者面对的一些环境上的障碍打倒了。只要你的心念跟思维一转，它确实是可以发挥更多的爱的一个希望这样子。
The Malaysian government had a strict border control, thus Malaysian national Gamingda was unable to return home during the weekend like he usually does. But he seized those days to do something good, not wasting any moments of life.
During the pandemic heights, I was in Singapore. There are 4 weekends in a month. I saw on the news about how some disadvantaged children in Singapore could not continue their education due to not having the means for online learning. So I went to ask the community charity teams to find out which students needed help with tutoring or just simply companionship. Then I matched either volunteer or Tzu Chi with each student, and that's how our study help came to be.
Gan joined Tzu Chi's in 2014. The next year, he went to Singapore for his studies and also enrolled as a volunteer in Singapore. He is currently the liaison person for the Singapore Tzu Chi, in charge of planning and organizing activities.
Due to the pandemic, the youth realize where they can put their efforts into good use. This not only brings about happiness from within, but they have also felt spiritually fulfilled during that 3 to 6 month time.
Meanwhile, Yishu Hua, who is also a Malaysian but owns a hair salon business in Singapore, was unable to return home to her family for 465 days. Despite being away from family, she continued to spread kindness and inspire donating members.
I can talk to my customers each day about Tzu Chi, and they're also very willing to listen. They understand that I'm doing charity, and also because of the pandemic, they're very willing to donate funds to help the elderly with food or supply medical equipment.
When she finally returned to her hometown of Johor Bahru, she not only made time for family, but also for the senior home events.
The virus is still very impactful right now, so there are many things we're unable to carry out. I wanted to seize the opportunity to promote vegetarianism because it's one of the things I can do. This time we're doing a vegetarian event at the senior home in Johor Bahru. This is one of the reasons I came by to help organize and work with the volunteers here.
During COVID times, many things have been restricted, but no matter where they are, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to find ways to give back to society, making their own cultivation ground wherever they go.
In Taipei City, Li Guomei, who is more than 70 years old, goes to the market every day to run a stall. She puts her tips in a bamboo coin bank and lives a frugal life, as she has now donated enough money to be certified as a Digi honorary board member.
The small vendor selling dry tofu and tofu is the charity raising station of the owner, Li Guomei.
I used to take $1 or $2 NT less from customers, or even $3 or $5. For the change that I didn't take, I would save them into the bamboo coin bank for the customers.
Because I bought things with her for a long time, I found that she donated her profits to accumulate blessings for the customers. I feel very moved. She usually implements Master's Dharma in her life.
Sometimes I will wash the box that contains tofu so that I can reuse it.
Not only that, she often washes the clothes at home by hand, taking care of the environment.
Collecting so many buckets of water is to save for flushing the toilets or mopping the floor, which saves water.
Li Guomei, the trend in spending and reducing consumption is to donate money saved to Tzu Chi, hoping to help more people in need.
It is not easy to save money when I earn little. I just save everything, so I can accumulate more.
In her 70s, even though her body is covered with bone spurs, she is still full of variety and grabs every chance to do good deeds.
The Wei family of 3 in Doliu, Taiwan, live in a 70-year-old house with a roof that leaks. Digi Foundation, including staff from Doliu Digi Hospital, recently came to help them fix their roof.
The volunteers passed the sprinkler to show their grand blessing. The roof on this old house is damaged, so the resident covers it with a canvas, but it still leaks when it rains.
I'm afraid that the house will collapse because some woods are rotten.
Worrying that the roof will collapse, Tzu Chi steps in.
We will improve the structure of the roof by using 5 layers of materials to make the roof waterproof, and it can also block out the heat.
In addition to Tzu Chi volunteers, medical staff from the Doliu Tzu Chi Hospital came with their families to help.
Our hospital is located in Doliu, so I called upon our staff who brought their families along. Together, they have created a beautiful story.
Mr. Wei is delighted to live in a safer home. He suffers from oral cancer and his wife became immobile after a car accident. Thus, they live a harsh life. But their son recently won a championship in the student category of the International Beauty Industry competition.
It was a surprise I won the first place, so I'm quite touched.
Company and encouragement from Tzu Chi volunteers helped the young man to move forward.
We want to give him a safe house where he can live without worries, and also hope that he can help people in the future.
The volunteers prepare desserts and new crewels for this family. Tzu Chi will continue carrying out a comprehensive assistance to this family.
In 1967, Tzu Chi Monthly gave donating members a glance as to where their money was being spent and whom was being helped. Kaohsiung Tzu Chi volunteers made a replica of the first ever copy at the latest blessing ceremony. Take a look.
What color should these handmade petals be? After some discussion, the group decides on pink to bring out the blueness of the paper bills. But how can the lotus stand tall?
The frames are not something everyone knows how to do. I have a tendency to make lanterns, so I'm familiar with making frames.
I tried petal by petal testing what is the best method. In the end, it was staples that made the best shape and looked the best like a real lotus flower petal.
The inspiration of using real 1,000 bills stemmed from love and care.
When trying to top over the bamboo corn bank, it can take a lot of energy. So I thought, why not fold the bills into a flower and present it to the master, making it look like a big lotus flower pond, paying homage to Buddha.
56 years ago, the Tzu Chi Monthly magazine was a scroll, so that's how it's presented in today's replica. There are also lotus flowers to represent the four missions of Tzu Chi. The team putting this display together put lots of energy and effort into building it.
We thought of a way to pull it out and then have it retract back. Oh no, this isn't going back all the way. See, there's a trick to it.
The replica of the first issue is held inside a bamboo coin bank to represent Tzu Chi's spiritual lineage does not deviate. Meanwhile, the bamboo forest made from recycled PET bottles represents environmental awareness in all of us.
We thought of so many ways. Some were to roll from the inside, but that was a very big effort. If you cut it, then the shape changes.
Originally it was difficult, but since you have the heart to set it up, no matter how difficult it might be, you just power through to completion.
Going back in time, the memories of those days are locked in their hearts. Tzu Chi's compassion and love unites this big family.
Master Chen Meiyuan visited Kaohsiung for a year-end blessing ceremony. More than 2,000 Tzu Chi volunteers participated in the performance. One of the newly certified volunteers is a section chief of the Kaohsiung Women's Prison who hopes to use the master's teachings to help more people follow the right path in life. Take a look.
Moving in uniform with hands and feet is quite a moving scene for the audience. Early days traveling from Kaohsiung to Hualien involved taking the Golden Horse bus with a miniature version of this bus slowly entering the stage.
见证高雄慈济人筚路蓝缕的历程。
There are also poles which carry baskets of rice to the world.
手动脚动，四轮传动，心动行动，全面行动，感动推动，不停传动，佛心施治，会谨记，心转法轮，做慈济。
感动啊！ 四轮传动啊，八法传动，法，这就是法，用法呼吁，不是一个人来呼吁，是要千千万万人来呼吁，万万千千，大家汇合起来，力量就大了啦。
Amongst his Dharma-see is Shu Ziwei, a newly certified volunteer. He's the section chief of the Kaohsiung Women's Prison and has served in the prison for 26 years.
In my work, when I serve these prisoners, I think I can be like Master Chen Meiyuan, and for the sake of Buddhism and all sentient beings, if there's a chance, I can do more for the benefit of these people.
这就是不通轻视微小的力量。从事呢，我们人人要发心。虽然我们力不大，人多啦，就力大啦。
The master uses the analogy of little ants climbing Mount Meru, as everyone can use their good abilities to let Taiwan become a source of charity, gathering dim lights together to eliminate the darkness.
In Kaohsiung, 52-year-old Chen Meiyuan was born in a fishing village in Penghu. She came to Taiwan with her parents when she was in elementary school and married at the age of 26. After her husband passed away, she had to take care of her parents-in-law and 3 children. She later joined the Digi family, which helped alleviate her pressure.
Chen Meiyuan moved to Taiwan when she was 9 and got married at 26. When she was 39, her husband passed away unexpectedly, and suddenly she had to support the whole family alone.
After my husband passed, I have simply lived a life like the Walking Dead for 2 years. It felt like my home was about to collapse. I would hug my children and cry together. I had no one to rely on. I worked all day.
Facing financial pressure and trivial family affairs, Chen Meiyuan also needed to take care of her in-laws and 3 children, but a car accident made her determined to change herself.
Be grateful to cut off all sorrows. I understand her sufferings, so I encouraged her to join Tzu Chi and learn Master's teachings.
The Master's Dharma made me realize there is not only my own family who suffer. When I visit care recipients, I will use my kids as an example to encourage them. Seeing that the 2 children of this care recipient are self-reliant, we also feel very gratified.
She let go of her hardships and participated in community visits and various tasks. She also volunteers in schools.
If Dad is a mountain, then Mom is a higher mountain. Mom is responsible for our family's economy. Until now, she always feels pity because she couldn't witness our growth. After she entered Tzu Chi, she's very interested in education. She did it very happily, and we also feel very happy.
Every child has his own piece of sky. Now my kids are all grown up. The Master said to extend little love to great love. Love children with a mother's heart. So I want to bring Jing's aphorisms into the school campus, hoping to spread love and kindness there.
过去的因缘无好，但是呢，堪受堪忍啦，时间都是安尼过。好的因缘呢，伫自在菩萨彼此做咱的贵人，所以咱爱珍惜。所以菩萨道伫咱的脚底下。 步步前进啦，唔通去迷失方向。
Chen Meiyuan now seizes every moment to give, living a more content and happy life than before.
Ziji's Dai farm in Zhongli has many trees and a vegetable garden handled by volunteer Chen Wening. Each morning he will tune into the master's wisdom at dawn while he works on the farm. All the profits from the farm products are donated back to the foundation. As Chen says, if he puts time and effort into his farming, then the harvest will reap benefits.
During the winter, it gets very cold here. The sacha inchi are originally from the tropics, so when they are planted in our zone, we must wrap them up for the winter. They are easy to plant but hard to take care of.
很不好照顾，因为它的虫害蛮严重的。像这个你看，这是它的排泄物。啊，你看，这个就是虫啊。这个就成熟了，像这个就品质就不错。
This is ready to harvest. This is a good quality bean, which is good for those of us who are vegetarian. It's full of omega-3, something vegans need.
很需要的那个成分，这个要弄掉，这个要弄掉，虫会靠掉的都要弄掉。这个大概在1个礼拜就可以采收了。我囡仔时阵就是做田啊，囡仔就想惊做田。
I worked on the farm when I was young, but I hated it. I've since changed my mind about it now that I'm an adult. When you're a kid, you want to play. If you're asked to weed the grass, of course, you don't want to. I vowed not to go back to farming as an adult.
长大绝对不要再种田。就全部狗血拢爱来给固定一下。
This is our enzyme container. We use fruit peels, brown sugar, and water to make it. It's a group effort.
大家去回收回来的，它这有量距离的，所以它很估摸。
它做事很估摸。
对。我要抽酵素，这个就要开，啊，这个开，啊。
If I want to use the enzyme, I just open this valve and this one. On the other side, I open one valve, then one more valve. Then the enzyme is released for use.
啊，酵素就过来了。这个就可以了。那疫苗啊，这些都是他自己疫苗。因为一个大人呢要坐在那。
The seedlings were all nurtured by him. Can you imagine him sitting there planting each little sprout? In a year, we have about 4,000 to 5,000 here on the farm.
哦，我们大概你看1年下来4、5千颗应该有。大爱农场，开心农，大爱开心农场，自己种的植物一天一天长大，有没有？到收成就心情就会。
Seeing the crops grow each day to harvest is a good feeling. I can't say that it's not hard work, as that's not true. But honestly, my body may be tired from it, but the joy in our hearts makes it all worthwhile.
辛苦，但是我们心愉快，所以就不苦。
With the weather getting colder, homeless people face yet another challenge. TIMA, together with the Homeless Advocacy Association, prepared cold weather supplies for a free clinic to protect the homeless. I leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.